Alright guys, Supreme Kami here, and today we are going to be doing the Alteration review for the Gundam XX. So things you do need to know about this unit. So this is going to be a shooting-based unit, but in terms of this predecessor, the alternative attribute, there are pro tags that you can kind of find along some of those parts. So let me just kind of show you guys real quick because I do have a few parts of the original XX. So you guys can see that we already do have the pro tag activated already. So if you do want to make this one, I don't know, somewhat of a melee based unit, let's say you want to make it into like a dual type build, this one is definitely possible. Granted, you do have the new version, and then you do have to have this one, the older version as well. Then you can kind of get those vortex and up and running. So it is possible to make the new version of the XX to be a very good dual type unit. That is definitely plausible. But I'd say the biggest downfall of this overall unit is the fact that the shooting status, this one is just absurdly low. Because what they did, they made this unit have the highest possible armor in the game currently, which is definitely something good. It's definitely something in a way for them to just kind of balance out the power creep, because if you guys do not know, when we play, let's say, friend battle, or if we hop into arena and etc., like the enemy armor multiplies by I think it's either 30% or somewhere along the line 30 to 40%. So the higher armor you have, the harder it is going to be for us to take it down, because there's always going to be only that amount percentage we can produce from our overall build. So if they start stacking, you know, really high armor, which this unit overall does have it is gonna change the overall game ever so slightly. But I definitely say raising armor is not the way to combat, let's say, power creep. I think there should be a way they can handle it. But I mean, like, I don't know, man. At this point in time, we want new content so we can actually use our overpowered build in something. But I guess that's pretty much not gonna happen. The only way that we can kind of experience, like, oh, how much you can do is by friend battling, like with any of your friends that has some pretty good armor. That's pretty much a good way to test it out. But let's get started into the review, because we do have 10 parts, so it is gonna take a little bit longer. So you guys can see head part starting out at 13.4k armor ready. So that is probably one of the higher one we have so far in game, if I recall. The last predecessor that has the highest armor was actually the TR6, the Hasten Derived 2. So this one was probably not even that old, and it got armor crap already. Sad. That is really sad. So is the head part really that good? If you generally speaking for a shooting based head, not really. You guys can see that we have abundance of choices. So this one is honestly not gonna be your top choices in a way, but you do have some pretty good options. Or as far as this usability, you do have let's say ace exclusive and then high firepower, so you are going to be able to subslot to fairly good amounts of, like, let's say the new Gundam. We have, let's see, the Wing Zero and stuff. So you guys can definitely see there are some usability of this XX being the big scale, subslotting into the non-big scale. So it's definitely usable. But portrait wise is not anything too spectacular. If you do take anything else that we have up top, we have new Gundam, which is actually just, you know, a little bit better, because there's not, let's say, a whole lot of restriction. And this one is squad based. Keep that in mind. This one is squad based, so everyone in your squad, your teammate, whatever, they are able to benefit from that. While if we take a look at the XX, there is one restriction where I think it's really harsh. You do have to use beam weaponry, which is like, I don't know, that's pretty much like half and half depending on what kind of playing style you have. So not really that good in a way. It's only 40% too. So I think some of the choices we can take a look at is, let's say, the high new Gundam, the tech attribute, the newest one. This one is good as well. So we just have better options already. So this one, if you guys do put head, let's say if you don't have anything, then this one does makes it the best head part you have. But if you guys do have any of these one that is like on the roster, then I would not really invest into it, except for maybe a subslot. So that's pretty much how I will place this one. So overall, not that good. Something that's not going to be good is going to be the torso once again. This so we do continue the trend. Armor wise, it's definitely really good. 15,000. Are you kidding me? That's probably like another really peak armor stat I've seen in my life. Pretty much. So that's, you know, pretty good, I guess, if you do want ultra armor or whatever. As far as this one, it's not bad. You are placed relatively high, I guess, but this one is like a burning part, and it's already down here, so I don't know how I feel about that. As far as sub-slot option, you definitely, or kind of like pairing option, you definitely do have a few. You have, let's say, the S-Skin and booster unit. This one has AC exclusive and then high firepower, so you can definitely make that a good sub-slot option. You definitely do have a few. So this one is yeah, so this one, generally speaking, because this one is on EXQ base, so I don't really have too much to say about this one. So simply, if you want to invest into this one, it's either you are using it for the, you know, the pure stat, this one per body, or you just don't have it anything else. But if you guys are using this one, just please make sure whatever you're subsiding into or whatever you maining per se have like a portrait, because what I'll see people do, they use this part right here, and then either their subside or their main part is another EXQ base, which is like, you guys are not getting any portrait. So that's generally stuff that I was point out what people don't do right. So if you guys are using this one, make sure you pair up with another part that has good portrait, and that's pretty much it. So it's not bad. This one is like pretty high up, but not really the highest for like a brand new part. But yeah, generally speaking, when I look at this part, I'm using this one for the armor base. Other than that, all the other one are just kind of like, yeah, kind of like whatever, right? Yeah, so let's kind of move over to the arm now. All right, take a look at the arm part. You guys can see we are looking at 13.8k armor, so that is definitely ridiculous. You have some pretty good base melee, 14,000. That's really respectable. Shot attack is actually on the lower side, and then the defensive side is actually really bad. So that's why you won't even see the arm up top. So it's actually going to be buried down within like the latter half of the overall roster, like your 7-star stuff. So that's really bad. So yeah, anything worth mentioning about the portrait? The portrait is actually not too terrible. I definitely do like this portrait because they're giving us like a different perspective of using, let's say, initial charge boosted. You guys kind of keep that in mind. This one at base level 1 portrait is starting out at 20% already. So even though the stat is kind of terrible, but the value in this one is just really good. So if you guys are out there that does not have like a feasible initial EXQ charge boosted and you put arm, this one is good. This one is definitely something that I would say traded because it's really beneficial. Starting out at 20% is just great. Because if you take a look at some other one, the one that maxed out 20%, they start out their portrait level 1 at 6%. So this one is really what they were at max out portrait level 10. So this one is really good. You do also have that enemy op damage plus 40%, so that's good. So that's why this one is like a really good, it's like a pseudo dual type build. If you guys do have the double X, the original version, they can definitely make that happen. But yeah, overall I do like the arm part. It's just the stat is my only complaint. As far as, let's say, your sub slot option, you definitely do have a lot. I think the first one that came to mind is actually this one, the new Gundam. This one does have AC exclusive and high firepower, so this one is definitely right there and there. You also do have the A to Z. This one is also going to work as well because this one is non-big scale, ace and then high firepower, so that's good. This one also do have the same condition, but you have a tag condition, and then you also do have like a weaponry, kind of, you have to use beam. So this one is kind of like meh, not really too great. So this one is actually a very good option, so not bad. Definitely armor, say thumbs up for me. So moving over to the leg, let's see what we have. I think the leg part is pretty similar to the torso. This one is not really that high in the roster. You guys can see I have to scroll up quite a bit. This one does have 14,000 armor, kind of keep that in mind. This one is like a god tier armor right there. Just the base melee or the base shot attack, and then the defense is, the shot defense is so low. Like I don't know, man. If they would have made that higher, that would be great. But I mean, like, they put everything in the armor, so that's that. EXQ wise, this one is the dual saber combo, so it's actually not anything crazy. You can even find this EXQ animation in some of your, let's say, welfare parts. So yeah, it's not anything too exciting. And this one, for whatever reason, they decided to pack in the heavy armor. What part within the leg do I see heavy armor stuff? Like, I don't know, man. This is like a weird one. They put heavy armor out of nowhere. So This one, I don't really see too great of a usage because his stat is actually really low. You have heavy armor, which doesn't really fit into a lot of just won't fit into a whole lot of those, you know, relevant trio tags, like, you know, ace exclusive, high firepower, and then commander, etc. So I don't really see where heavy armor can be used. So yeah, the leg part, if you guys do pull it, I'm sorry, you guys probably got one of the less important part of the overall set. So except for armor, the armor is good. All right, the armor is probably the only thing that I would compliment about. All the other one are just kind of like, I don't know. But moving over to the back part now, we have another piece that has exceptional armor, 13.8. Why not? Just give us that, huh? Alright, so as for the overall stat, it's not bad. AK-40 base shot attack is actually really phenomenal, so that's why it's gonna place right up into the top 3 at the current moment, so that's pretty good. As far as the tag wise, you do have ace exclusive and then high firepower, so you definitely do have some pretty good options. You can take a look at, let's say, the Financial Liberta. This one can definitely get some help. You can subslot. You can actually put this one in the front slot and subslot this one because you do have, you know, that link attribute going on, so it is going to be a little bit stronger. Some other one that you can actually, it's not really all that much because look at that. Some of the other one, like I would say the Cacique Gundam, but this one is big scale, so I want to do that. So yeah, we actually, no, this one works as well. The Wing Zero, this one works as well. You do have ace exclusive, so that kind of works. But other than that, you know, there's just not like a whole lot of stuff where I can subslot that into, just because you're looking at big scale. So yeah, so big scale from time to time does kind of ruin things here and there. So I do wish that eventually they'll stop pumping out a lot of these big scale, because it's starting to not be beneficial anymore. So we just have too much in a sense. But that's pretty much it for the for that. Oh, EXQ. So as far as the twin satellite cannon, is pretty much going to be the same thing once again, so nothing too special. The only factor is they actually gives this like a buff, so this one is simply going to be for yourself, going to give you a melee and shot attack up respectively by 29% and then 49% at max out. So this is a screaming at your face, please use me as a new type build, because they actually does offer that, so it's not bad. Moving over to the melee stuff now, so we actually do have 3 different melee weapons to kind of choose from. My top pick is actually just going to be the newest addition. We have the twin beam sword. This one, my reason being, this one is the best one of the 3, because look what we are getting. We're getting a double squad power boosted, or the other one is a damage. So this one is just really good. Let's say you're not using this one on your unit, you're using this one on your ally unit, you're actually benefiting it as well. So gotta love these squad trait, because they're actually just helping out tremendously in your overall squad. So this one is really good. Not to discredit these ones over here, but look at that. Outfighter job license. Are you kidding me? Like, what is this? So this one is screaming another part. Use me as in a dual type build situation, because first condition does want you to be using it in Outfighter, so that is obviously, you know, trying to balance out the stats. You would put your overall unit or your overall build into Outfighter, and then just to balance out your shot attack and your melee attacks. So that's why they did that. So this one is a double shooting power boosted, or a shooting damage. I don't know why they did that. So which that means if you are running this in a melee build, you're getting shaft over here, because only your shooting stuff is getting the damage up. So I don't know, this part, no. So this one is instantly out of my list. It's not that great. And then last but not least, we have the G Hammer. This one being a whip category does kind of suffer a little bit, just because there's not a whole lot of, you know, other component where you can use this one in as far as subslotting and stuff. So kind of sad. This one's not bad. I think this one is just pretty general. This one is giving you that all power boost by 40%, and then another enemy all damage plus 40%. But if you have to ask me to choose one of the 3, definitely has to be this one first a bit. This one is way too good. This one is a twin blade, so you do have some good option, and this one does have the more premium tag in my opinion. So that's why. So out of the 3, definitely this one, the newest one, is gonna be good. But this one is not going to be able to access some of your link attributes, so that's a little bit of a downfall anyway. But moving over to the rifle now, the DX Buster rifle. So this one just going to give you a whole lump of armor, and then just a straight up 16.8k shot attack. This one is actually quite interesting because they're actually giving you an offensive up gamma, so that is actually a first, if I recall correctly, having a ranged weapon having like an actual buffer like that. So that's kind of interesting. So as far as your overall unit and aesthetics, you can actually, if you want to beef up yourself using these type of EX skill, especially the gamma or the offensive up gamma, this one can actually still give you that offensive aesthetic that you would like, because in terms of you head to your back part, you don't really have to sacrifice anything else because you can put the buffer on a ranged weapon. So that's kind of nice. That's definitely something I'll give it a thumbs up. And another factor is this one is probably, I think this is actually a first big scale helper that has these two attacks together, ace exclusive and the high firepower. So the thing that I immediately jumped to conclusion is what I'll subside to is actually going to be this unit here, or this rifle, the new Gundam beam rifle. This one actually just have base exclusive and then high firepower, so that makes it a very good complementary combo right there. Let me actually do this. Let me actually filter this one by just rifle category. So let's see, just rifle itself, I think we do have quite a lot of options. But as far as non-big scales, we really do not have a whole lot, right? Yeah, just not a whole lot of good options. This one is good actually, but you're not getting that 40% conversion ratio from the subside, because this one Gundam type, while the pistol rifle does have high firepower. So there's definitely a lot of good. As far as the pistol rifle, this one is actually just really good for that supporting role, just giving you that subsiding stat. So not bad overall. Despite the fact that the stat is just horrendously low, but it still makes it a very good partner, that's for sure. Last but not least, we have the shoe. The shoe is actually, I don't know how I feel about the shoe, because yes, first of all, you do have some pretty good stat. You guys can see it's going to be placed in the 3rd place right now. But the only thing that kind of trips me over is like the portrait. They give us pretty much the same thing. We have enemy EXQ penetration reduced by 180% in total, essentially. So as far as enemy penetration reduced, that's pretty much looking at their piercing. So if your enemy is using an EXQ that is D piercing, I really don't know how much this is going to be reduced by. Maybe like going down to F piercing, maybe. So this one, although stat is good, but the portrait is bad. So that's pretty unfortunate. So yeah, as far as the stat, another part that I can immediately think of as far as doing just reviewing this one was this one here. We got the shield parts series going over to Zeta. I remember correctly, the Zeta shield actually have similar stats. It's right about there. I will want to say, but it's just this one does not have the armor the defensive plate has, because that one is rocking like an 11k, while this one is like 3,000. So there's a difference. But overall, if you purely cares only about these, like your attacking stat but not the armor, then I feel like double X is not that good. But if you care about your unit being tanky while being able to still output some pretty good flat stat, I think double X is definitely really good. But other than that, that's gonna be pretty much it as for the double X review. I would say this not a whole lot of parts intrigue me the most. I think just for a recap, the twin beam sword is definitely my top pick. The armor is definitely really good. All the other ones are just kind of like hit or miss, right? Just because how they're doing and what they're doing is not really too feasible, because we just have those options already. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say, and then I'll be catching you guys on the next one.